We're here to show people that they already are heroes. They just have to go for it.
You are now watching live show Unleash the Creative with ALEX B Sheridan.
Yes!
We made it happen.
Yes, we made it happen. I'm super excited, man. Welcome everyone to this, I call it a live show. It's called Unleash the Creative with a special guest of mine. I'm super excited to have you here, man. ALEX B Sheridan. Welcome to the show. And yeah.
Happy to be here, brother. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Let's do this. Right. I'm going to be a little bit stressed out as this is my first live show with a guest. So
I'm good, man. We're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun, definitely. We're going to have fun. I was waiting for that moment for such a long time. I'm super happy that it's actually happening. So welcome everyone to the show. We're going to be talking about a few things because I wanted to ask about a few things because first we're going to talk about some ideas. Right, we're going to talk about video marketing on LinkedIn. Not only on LinkedIn, but about video marketing. First of all, about video creation and creativity. Does everyone have it? Yeah, I think it does. I think everyone have it. About equipment to start with. About benefits of doing videos and importance, right? Why content marketing and why especially video marketing, right, is important when it comes to building your brand, building your personal brand, company brand, and stuff like that. So my first question, because I listened to some podcasts, right? And I've got this one guy that I love, and he actually starts with a line, right? And my question to you first is like, what kind of video recently or a movie have you watched that made you like blow your mind and you're like, wow, that was something. That was really something and made you like, inspired you to come up with some ideas or whatever that, made a massive impact on you?
I don't watch a ton of movies and TV shows, but I do remember one specifically. And funny enough, it actually showed up in that promo video that you showed, which was The Boys on Amazon Prime. And it's about superheroes, but they're kind of like these evil superheroes, right? So they're famous. Everyone in the country knows them. And they have special powers, but they don't use them for good. They act like they use them for good, but really they're evil behind the scenes. I won't spoil the show in case someone wants to watch it, but that actually gave me the idea to do the superheroes, the creative video superheroes that I did the show for, the skit for. So I do pay attention to my surroundings, and if I catch a show or a movie or whatever it might be, I try to pull ideas from that. But to be honest with you, most of the creative ideas come from me just getting inside my own head and thinking, what do I want to talk about first? What's the message? What's the value? To me, that always comes first. Secondly, then I think, how can I wrap that up in a creative message, in a creative story with a skit, edutainment, whatever I want to do. And I every single morning, I dedicate myself, I give myself time. Sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's an hour, but at least 30 minutes where I'm writing down creative ideas. I'm writing out scripts. I'm writing out, what am I going to do? What's my next video 4 weeks from now? And that's really the process. So I think when you're coming up with creative type videos, or if you're songwriting or script writing, or if you just want to write a text post, whatever it is, it's important that you give yourself time to be creative, because some days you're creative, some days you're not. But I give myself that time every single morning. Yeah,
this is one of the, I can't remember when I first, came onto your profile, because I've got some people from the States, from around the world, and first time when I saw your videos, I was like, oh my God, this is something special. This is something different, because you watch all those videos, across the LinkedIn, right? Most of them, like, I would say that's what I do. That simple bar, right? Bar on the top, bar on the bottom. Some transcription, subtitles, and things like that. And then you see something like this. You see something like you do. It's hard to explain, because I was like, what's that? How did he do that? And I'm like, this edutainment that you were talking about, this sort of like this story, right? When you build in this, when you come up with an idea, right? It's a long process as well, to make it all happen. scripts and things like that. But it's absolutely exceptional, and I haven't seen anyone. Actually, you know, I don't have a massive following or a massive community, but when it comes to videos on LinkedIn, I haven't seen anyone who's actually been doing similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
There are some people who's playing with, you know, with some backgrounds or stuff like that, but how did you come up with that? How did you come up with that? Like, this is the right content that I want to do, and I will be the leader, right, in videos on LinkedIn.
I violated your expectations. That's what I heard that phrase recently, and I was like, that's what it was. That's what it is, right? So your expectations when you scroll, anyone watching right now, you have a certain expectation when you scroll through the newsfeed, right? You think you're going to see text posts, some motivational stuff, some quotes, a video, the banner up top, banner down bottom. Yeah, everyone's been doing that for a long time now. I thought, how can I do something so different that your expectations would be blown away? And you'd say, I've never seen something like that. You know, I've never even seen someone try to do something like that. This is so different. I can't help but not want to watch. I can't help but watch this, right? I got to stay tuned. I got to see how the story ends. I got to see what he's doing with the skit, the story, like, you know, whether it was the rap battles or it was the LinkedIn Terminator or the stand-up comedian or whatever it was. I wanted to take what you normally thought would be in the newsfeed and just completely twist it into something else, but still deliver value at the same time, still have a good message at the same time. And that's really that's the premise of this whole thing. That's how it started. I just said, I got to get attention. I started in 2019 with 0 followers, no one. I had nobody. I started my LinkedIn page from scratch. And I thought, you know, if I'm going to get ahead and if I'm going to gain traction, I better be pretty interesting. I better be doing some things that, one, I stood for something and I had some values and then there was a movement and there was a mission and I wanted to help people genuinely build a community. But two, I was going to stand out because people were going to see my stuff and say, what is this guy doing? What is up here? And I also, Lucas, I wasn't afraid to fail. I wasn't afraid because I put out some bad videos. Like, let's keep it real for a second. I put out some bad videos in the beginning, you know, and I was doing my best. I was learning. I was making mistakes. I was learning from them. I put out a video that didn't do so well. The next time I made a video, I came back and I took what I learned there and I applied it to the next one. So it takes trial and error. Most people, that's why I'm so passionate about Unleash the Creative. Most people aren't willing to put themselves out there to take a chance, to get outside of their comfort zone, to unleash their creative, to even see what they have inside of them. Because everyone does have creativity. Everyone does have this potential inside. The question is, are you going to let it out?
Yes. This is where we come from with creativity, right? Does everyone have it? First, we're going to shout out to Lucas, one of my best friends, Łukasz Jędraszkiewicz. Good evening. Good evening to everyone who's just joined up for this live with Alex, with my first special guest, ALEX B SHERIDAN. As I said, I'm super excited to have him on the show. I'm super excited that he's my first guest on the show. As you said, a lot of people, when they come up with stuff, or they are afraid of exposing them in front of the camera. Right, you said that you made some of the videos, and they are going to be like, when you start something, right? You start from scratch. You started in 2019, right? When you start from scratch, you're not the best at it, but you keep learning, right? And there is this momentum, or there is this sort of like a feeling that some people are like afraid of other people's opinion, right? And once they put out the content, they're like, oh, I didn't get too much likes, or I wasn't expecting that kind of, let's say, hate or something like that, or I'm not good at it, so I'm going to drop it out, right? But what's the motivation? Is it like internal motivation that you're going to, build your brand on, build your confidence, or external motivation? Which one, what do you think? Which one is greater for your, I would say, experience plus your confidence of, building? Is it internal motivation or whatever, or external motivation from people?
Well, I think the inspiration, the true inspiration, should come from within, I think. But all that being said, external factors can feed that inspiration and motivate you even further. So I'm human. I mean, we're all human. You don't think I get discouraged when my posts don't do well? I mean, I and that happened for a long time, right? Like, it still stings when I put a lot of work into something and it doesn't do well. I'd be lying if I said I didn't care how my posts perform. I do, of course, right? Like if I put out something really good and it doesn't perform well, I'm like, that kind of sucks. Now here's the flip. Here's where most people make the mistake. When I have that happen, right? So we all have things happen. We all make mistakes. We all post that don't do well, things that happen in our life. I'm human. I react to it too. I get down about things too. But the difference is, and the difference between people that are successful and make it and the people that are not successful and don't make it, is when that happens, what do you do in that moment? What do you decide to do? And I was someone that decided that I was going to take a failure. I was going to take a post not doing well. And I wasn't going to blame the algorithm. I wasn't going to blame, my audience for not liking this awesome content. I was going to say, all right, well, let me look in the mirror. I probably missed this. Oh, yep, my thumbnail wasn't right, or this wasn't right, or hey, it wasn't tailored enough to the audience, or I got a little too creative with it, whatever it would have been. I still to this day, that's how I treat everything. I take ownership, I take accountability, and I think, how could I get better from it? I use it to fuel me. So those external things that happen, I use them to say, I'm going to get better. If I posted a video, like my next creative video on Monday, if it only got like 10 likes and 2 comments, I wouldn't be mad. I'd probably think LinkedIn was broken for a second, but I would quickly go to, okay, I got to get better. I got to get better. And every single time in my life that I've had something bad happen or negative, or I've went through a tough experience, it's always propelled me to get to the next level. So in a weird way, I almost kind of like it sometimes, because I know that my internal drive is strong enough to where when something does happen like that, I actually kick it up a notch.
Yeah. When you're talking about this, special content, and you want to go further and better and better. Last time when we spoke, you said, see my next video as I'm going, as I'm leveling up, and I'm like, you're already on unbelievable, level to me. And I think you're like, I said to one of my friends who actually, as I told you before, that he went through all of your videos, right? And he says he checked all your history from the day you started, put out your first content, right? And then he saw your,
the evolution,
yeah. Right? And he says like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. And I'm like, yeah, he is. And the thing is, how can you, especially when you're on that, unbelievable level at the moment, how can you level up from there? I mean, do you have something coming up, or do you because this is something that I think LinkedIn is not prepared yet, if you know what I mean. You're like 2 or 3 years ahead. And,
well, it's I mean, honestly, it's a balance. And I think the key to progression in anything, but especially in content, it's a balance between being grateful and looking at your work and saying, hey, I'm doing pretty good. Like I would never look at my work and say, man, you suck. Like you're a terrible content creator. I mean, I'm honest with myself. Like I know myself, I think my stuff's pretty good. But on the flip side, and the other side of that balancing act, is me looking at my content and saying, it's not that great though. It's not that great. I love it, and I'm proud of what I've done, and I think it's good, and I appreciate myself. I'm proud of myself for the work that I've put in and the fact that I stuck with it even after making a lot of mistakes. What's up, audience? But I equally go back to I'm competing with myself. I don't think there's any other competitors, right? And it's not an arrogance thing. That's just how I internalize things. I'm like, I'm competing with me. So I have to outdo myself. So as good as that last video did, now I got to start coming up with things that are going to be better. And that's how I've made the progression. You look at social media, so many people got comfortable. So many people stuck with one style, and you see them a year later and the video looks the exact same, and they haven't grown. Their audience has not grown, or they're talking about, so I think for me, always the goal was to outdo myself from the week or the month prior, or if I look back 6 months ago, am I doing much better now than I was 6 months ago? That's always been the goal.
That's great. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, as I've watched you for a long time, I could see that your creativity just evolves when you come up with some. We're going to come back to Lukasz in a minute.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, I love sounds and music, so we're going to come back to it. As I could see, just like your creativity, your ideas, and then when you put out your content and the way you talk with your audience, you interact with your audience as well. This is very important. It's like complex. It's all some people say that, oh yeah, just put out content and that's it. But you've got to be engaged with with yourself. I mean, with your community, right? And put your level up, as you said, look in the mirror and try to be the best version of you. So let's come back to the question, because I got stuck a little bit.
Really quickly on that though, it depends on it depends on your brand, like how you approach social media depends on your brand. It depends on your audience. It depends on what you want to accomplish, what you want to be known for. So I could have easily been the person, Lucas, that was going to post twice a day or once every day for 7 weeks straight, or every single day, Monday through Sunday. I could have easily been that person. I'm not that person. And I wanted to put more creativity in my content. I wanted to spend a little bit more time on it. I wanted to put a little more effort into it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with posting every day or twice a day. There's not, if that's your thing. I just knew that wasn't me, right? I'm not going to be the guy that you follow. Like, I want to see Alex's post twice a day. That's not who I wanted to be. I wanted to be the guy that you see in the feed and you say, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that before. Right. That was my brand. Right. So you got to think about what do you want to be known for? What's the brand? What do you want to accomplish? Who is your audience? What do they care about? How can you attract them to you? How can you get the message to resonate? There's so many different ways to do it. You could post every day. You could post twice a day. You could post twice a week. It's just like, how do you want to show up? Really thinking about that.
Yeah. All right, then. So let's get to the question. And Łukasz is asking that if music is important to you in your content, and do you pay attention to it, or you just use what is available?
It's the most underrated aspect of video content, music. That's it, right? Like, people don't pay enough attention to the music. And I'm not just talking about the creative, the edutainment videos and that kind of stuff. I'm even talking about interview style videos, and there's transitions and intros, outros. There's so many things where you can add music. Like, think about it like this. When you're watching a movie, a really good movie, the music's there, but you don't even almost realize it. But if you went back and watched that same exact movie line for line and you took out the music, it would be a completely different movie. So the goal is, when you're good at adding music to video and you've really got some cool things down and you understand it at a certain level, it's there. It elicits an emotion from people. It ties in with the theme. So the audio can't be high energy and like really in fast pace. And then the theme is like really dark or emotional or like a dramatic story, and vice versa. It can't be a dramatic or emotional type song mixed with a high energy type story. So you've got to learn to fuse those two together. The music is in cadence with the message, but you almost don't even know it's there. I bet a lot of people would not even realize it. But if you go back and watch pretty much every one of my videos, there's a music component to it. Really, in the edutainment ones, it's really complex oftentimes. I may spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes on just getting the music right. Because I think about it like a mini movie. So music is absolutely the most underrated aspect of video.
Yes. As I am a music psycho, I must say, and I must admit, when I created that intro for this show, it took me at least 30 or 40 minutes to find the right music, because on the music you built, I had your parts, I had your videos, and I wanted to make it look exceptional. So it took me some time to get that right music, and then create everything on that, create the momentum, the everything on that music. So it takes a lot of time to, you've got to put attention to your details, and music is, as you said, very underrated aspect of the video.
And if you played that intro clip without the music, it's not even the same intro clip anymore, right? It's totally different. So music and story, like, these are the two things that have been around since the beginning of time, and they'll always be around, and they show up in content. They show up in good content. And that's music and storytelling. Those two things have been around since the beginning of time, and they always will be with content creation, music and storytelling. So if you can find ways to fuse these things into your content, you're probably going to win. There's a reason that they've been around so long. They connect with humans on a very deep and emotional level. And if you understand content creation well, you know that you need to connect with your audience on a deep and emotional level.
Right. Okay. Let's get back to our audience. So Grzegorz Stanecki, this is the guy that I was talking about. That he went through all your videos. I introduced Alex to him, and he says, "Oh my God, this is something out of this world." And I wanted some people to especially to my Polish audience, to see someone from the top video creators, to see how they do videos, how the right video marketing, right, is is made on LinkedIn. How you do it? So we have Alex, and I'm super excited. Edyta Kowalska, everyone, welcome again. Whoever's joining up, and right, another question, and we've got a question from Grzegorz. And what tools do you use if it's not a secret? And the question is, because I was asking, I was going to say that we're going to be talking about equipment as well. So we're going to start with some basic equipment. What do you use? And then obviously you can answer to the question, if it's not a secret, what else do you use to make your videos stand out, to make them look the way they're looking? Because as I said, this is something out of this world. So
yeah, so great question. And it's not a secret, by the way. I'll share whatever you guys want to know today. So ask some good questions. I'll share everything for you guys because I want to make sure this is valuable. In terms of what tools do I use? So if we're recording the actual video, like none of this is very fancy, by the way. It's all very simple equipment. My approach has been very simple because I wanted to teach other people how to do it. And if I made it super complex and we got this camera crew and all this different stuff, people can do it themselves, right? And I don't think in today's era, 2021, you don't need fancy stuff. I think you just don't need that fancy stuff to create video content, to make it. You just need to know how to use the stuff that you got to its fullest potential. So for the webcam, I'm using the same one I'm using now. It's a Logitech Brio, which I think is maybe $200 US, something like that. I've got a small ring light behind it. I've got these two lights here, like this, that go on both sides of the green screen. When I shoot my edutainment videos, the green screen videos, they go on each side. The green screen pulls up. It's just something I bought off Amazon, a typical fold up, fold down green screen, and that's really it, man. That's it.
That green screen, is it made of a material? Is it fabric, or is it like sort of like a blackboard or some,
it's like a fabric, but it folds up and folds down. I can
so like a roller or something like that.
Yeah, roll out, exactly. I don't do the cloth stuff that you got to hang up because you get a lot of crinkles and it can be hard to kind of straighten out. Sometimes you get the wrinkles in the fabric and stuff. So I use the fold up, fold down. Yeah, so it's exactly. So it stays very still. It doesn't move. There's no wrinkles. It looks uniform. It looks really good. And then in terms of editing, and then I use a Yeti mic. So this is actually a Yeti X. So it's a little bit more, it's an upgrade from the traditional one, but that's really it. And then from an editing standpoint, I used Filmora. If you look back at my older videos, when I was editing them myself, I used Filmora for a long time. That was like all I used. So I would say there's 3 categories of video editing. If you're going to do it yourself and you want to become really good at video editing, like you want to become, Lucas, or you want to become a professional video editor, then you would do Adobe Premiere Pro, you would do Filmora Pro. That's if you really want to get into it and really learn and build the skill, but it's a long time. It takes a while to build that skill. You got to be prepared to dive in. For most people, especially my audience, they don't want to go that heavy into it, right? They're not trying to be a professional video editor. So you've got 2 other options then. The other option is you learn to do simple stuff on your phone, like InShot is a good app, or Kapwing, Kapwing. That's a good software for just editing yourself. Now, you're not going to be able to do anything super crazy, but you'll put a headline up top, the subtitles, the colored backgrounds. That's all through those types of apps. And then you've got the third option, which I recommend, which is having somebody else edit for you. Outsource, hire somebody, pay somebody else to do the work. They're the professional and they're going to do a better job than you can anyways. And you can spend your time in the business. They can focus on doing what they do best and everyone wins.
Yeah, because video editing takes time, right? I mean, it takes time to learn some basic skills. Of course, you've got everything. You've got like tutorials on YouTube, and you can learn actually step by step as you start from the scratch, and then you go to YouTube, and then you look for some tutorials to any actually software.
I don't recommend trying to learn it. Like I said, if you're going to become a video editor and that's what you want to do, then that's a different story. But I learned video editing to a point where I was decently good at it. I'm not what my team does today. They're so much better than me, but I got pretty good at it. But I dedicated a lot of time to learning it. I mean, it's a skill. So you have to know that going into it.
Yeah, so sometimes, as you said, you've got a team, it's better to outsource some things, because you can't do everything on your own.
No.
Especially when, in video creating, as you come up with an idea, right? Then you've got to make a script. You've got to sort it out somehow. You put some script. You put some scenes out, right? You write it down. What is the scene? How the scene come up in an order, right? Then you have to obviously look for some audio, look for some stock videos or some of that animation. It takes a lot of time, especially when you want to create something like you do.
Yeah, man.
If you were going to edit it yourself, you wouldn't be putting out content once a week. You would be like once a month.
It's hard to. I mean, I did it for myself for 5 months, 6 months, and maybe more than that. And I was putting out 2 or 3 videos a week. But I tell you what, man, I was working every night until 11 o'clock, midnight. I was working every weekend. I mean, it was exhausting, because to your point, there's so much stuff that you have to consider that goes into it. Once I started outsourcing it, it freed me up to grow my business, to do other things, to spend more time with my family. So I always highly recommend that.
All right. We're going to come to benefits, right? Do making videos have any benefits? Of course it does. For your personal brand and your company brand, right? So
yeah. Huge, man. So think about it like this. If you were trying to, win a new customer, and you had a couple different options, you could talk to them via email, you could pick up the phone and call them, or you could hop on a Zoom like this, or a StreamYard like this, or a live virtual video meeting. Which one would we all choose? Video every time. Right? It's not even close, right? We would just want to get in front of the customer, the potential customer, and we want to have the conversation. Why? Because we can see facial expressions. We can see nonverbals. We get a feel for their personality, right? There's certain interactions that you just can't do. You definitely can't do via email or text. And some of them you could do for audio, but video is a different level of experience. So I think about like this, the pre-sale. What's the customer experience? What's the customer journey that you take people through? When people have an opportunity to see me on video, to see my content, potentially sometimes a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5 months before they actually buy from me, they feel like they already know me, because they've seen me so many times. They've seen me on camera. They know my personality. They know my sense of humor. They know what I care about. They know what matters. And they know how I treat my clients. And when they hop on a Zoom call, it's like, Alex, I feel like I've already known you for the last, 3 months. Like, you probably feel like you knew me to a certain extent, even though we chatted in the DMs. But just from seeing my videos, you probably felt like you had a decent understanding of what I was going to be like. And so that really matters. If you scroll through and before I get on a meeting with somebody and they've never made any video content, and I scroll through their LinkedIn and I'm trying to learn more about them, but they've only posted some text posts, they've shared some articles, I have no clue what that person's going to be like. Yeah. I don't know what their personality is. I don't know what I don't know much. Versus if I can go through and watch 10, 20, 30 videos of someone, I really feel like going into that call or that meeting that I kind of know that person. So you really can connect with your audience on a deep, deep, deep level and emotionally that you just would never get from a text post or a picture post. They say a picture says, 1,000 words or whatever. Well, a video can say 1,000,000 words. You really can express yourself and show your unique personality and unleash your creative on video like you just can't do anywhere else.
Exactly, because it will reveal your emotions, right? The way you look at your videos, the way you act, the way you, as you said,
you can't fake it. You cannot fake it on video. You can't fake it. You can't pretend. You can't. Well, I mean, I could write a text post and I could sound one way, but then be totally different in person. If I'm on video, this is it. This is the legit me, right? It's harder to come up with a fake persona or act a different way, because if you're on camera long enough, people are going to pick up on things, right? Where text, you can hide behind a lot of things on text. Now, I'm not saying that text is bad. I think I still use text post. So I think it's good to use them. You get good reach out of them. But I would just make sure that if you've got a content strategy, that you've got some aspect of video in there. I don't tell people just because I teach a lot of video that you need to make 3 videos a week or 4 videos a week. I don't do that, because some people are really good writers, and you know what? Writing copy is a very good strategy for them, and it can work really well. But I recommend that you implement some video in there, or at least get it on your featured content section of your profile, somewhere where people can go and interact with you and really get a feel for who you are.
Yeah. That's true. We're going to come back to Editor, who says about the sound that she sometimes spent like 2 hours in searching for the right sound to the movie. So it
I believe
does. Yeah, she's actually she is. Yeah, shout out to Editor, who's a video creator as well.
And look,
yes,
and here's the other thing on that. You're going to have some people that are like, Alex, I don't want to spend any time adding music to my videos. I just get on there and film them. That's fine. That's you, right? That's you and your brand and what you want to build and what you want to be known for and how you want to stay. So there is no right or wrong when it comes to creating content. It's just doing you and thinking about your audience and what they care about, what's going to resonate with them and your brand and your personality, and fusing these things together. There's no one right way or not. I do me, and I want to be known for certain things. So if people are saying like, hey, I don't care about the audio, I don't care about the green screen, that's fine. But no one probably looks at your content and thinks, oh my God, I've never seen something like this before. So like, that's how I think about it, man.
And I think that's the outcome that every video creator or any creator, music creator, video creator wants to have. Like someone look at your content or listen to your content and like, wow, like, jaw dropping, like
the wow
this
factor.
Is something. Yeah, the wow factor. Yeah. And so this is the goal. And Thomas says that he does videos in Cyberlink powered Director 16. I remember I stumbled on it, and this is what he has now. What? Okay, so this is kind of good answer. Well, good review. I mean, to come up with and to add to something to it. I mean, for the start, right? Because we've got some people who start with their content, right? And what would you recommend? What kind of video software editing would you recommend for the start? Because I know Adobe Premiere is pretty,
Yeah, it's advanced. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
advanced, right?
Yeah. If you've never edited a video before, you start off in Adobe, you're going to be lost pretty quickly. You're really the same in Filmora. It's just it takes time to get accustomed to. It's funny because when you first start off, I encourage people just to start shooting a video. Like you could literally pick out your phone and just shoot a selfie video. That's better than not doing any video. And you can add subtitles and whatnot on the selfie video. So the first thing I do is encourage people just to start putting out the content, right? Don't wait for everything to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Just think about making progress. So if you're putting out no content now, or if you've never done a video on LinkedIn or wherever you're posting, commit that you're going to post a video a week. That's a good starting place, right? This week, it's Thursday, Friday for you guys, I think, but I'm going to post a video, or is it still Thursday? Still Thursday.
It's Thursday, yeah.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, yeah.
So, hey, I'm going to post a video tomorrow, and then next week I'm going to post one video, and I'm going to do a text post or two. And you can just use your phone. You keep it short, keep it to the point. Think about your audience and the value you want to add. That's a good starting place. But if you're going to edit the videos yourself and you're not going to outsource, then you want to use one of those apps like InShot or Capwing, something where you can just basically plug in your video, or Subtitle is a good one. You can plug in the video. They create the top and bottom banner basically for you. You pick the color, and then you can add a quick headline, and you can add in subtitles if you want. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
All right. So how to come up with ideas? I mean, where to get those ideas from, right? Because there are people who have who are in very very various industries, right? We've got some people from doing swimming pool producers. We got someone who's doing some pipes or steel manufacturer or anything like that. How do you approach? Because we're going to be talking about this your 5-week program as well. Because I'm curious about it, and I want to tell people. I want you to introduce that plan to people as well. But how do you come up with ideas of what people would like to see, and do you deliver based on someone's reviews or opinions of what they would like to see, or do you just create what you think you would like to create? You just you have a free will, free space, and you just do what you think it's in you. Do what you think you would love to to create, or do you create something like that is tailored to to the audience? Which one is better, and how do you approach that?
Coming up with content ideas is actually very simple when you break it down. And literally all you have to do is think about your customers. They have questions. You just answer those questions, right? So that's literally as simple as it is. And you think about, okay, what do they care about? What are they challenged with? What do they want to know more about? And how can I and what I do help them bridge the gap, help them get better, help them, become a better salesperson, a better leadership person, a better manufacturer, or whatever it might be, a better video creator, a better social media marketer, whatever it might be. You want to think about, so even like I think about today, there's several things that we talked about today that would be great pieces of content for me because it's stuff that my customers ask. How do I get started? Right? What equipment should I use? Where should I get my content ideas from? What do I, how do I make myself more creative in my videos? Right? So how do I actually win clients from LinkedIn?
Yeah, my camera just shut down. I'm not sure why. Hold on. No worries. I'll get it.
I'll keep going if you want.
Yeah, I've got another one. I'm not sure why it died, but hold up.
Is it plugged into a USB?
It is. It is. It's funny. It is plugged in. So yeah, I come back with another one. Oh, it is not the best one, but okay.
So content ideas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The best way to get. All right, he's back in the game. But the best way to get content ideas is just to talk to your customers. Is just to ask them. When you start talking, just like I said, just like we did here, where you guys were asking questions around how do I start on video? What equipment should I use? What's the process like? How do I convert my content into customers? That's a question I get all the time. Alex, how do you convert content into customers? And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to answer that question in some videos. I'm going to answer it in a text post. I'm going to say, hey, if you want to start converting your content, here's 3 things you can do right now that'll help you do that. And so if anyone's out there right now, if you're not sure what to talk about, the next time you have a meeting with a potential customer or a meeting with a current client, just figure out what they care about. Figure out what their concerns are. What are they thinking about? What do they need in their strategy? What do they want that they don't have right now? And how do you and what you provide, you play a role in that? Everything you should do, everything you put out there, even if it's a personal type message, it should tie back into some kind of story or brand message that you have that resonates with your audience.
So how do you get questions from customers? I mean, do you put out on LinkedIn and ask straight away, or do you have a sales team who just answer phones and people asking about things, or do you create a poll on the LinkedIn, or because you need to have some source of of those questions. You need to know what your audience, what your customers wants. How do you get to that?
So here's a great tip for getting content ideas. And you do a mix of what you just said. So you could do polls. You could have your field sales reps ask questions. Here's what I would do. I would go to my client and I would say, hey, I want to start posting more on LinkedIn. I go to several clients that I have, right? If I wasn't posting content now, I'm servicing them. I've got a product or service. I would say, hey, what would you want to hear about that I'm going to start posting content on LinkedIn more actively? What challenges do you have as it relates to what I do? So let's say you're a sales coach, right? You probably would already know this, to be honest, but if you didn't, because if you didn't know what your customers struggle with, how are you going to sell anything to them, right? If you didn't know what your customers' pain points were or what keeps them up at night or what they want to know about, how are you doing business with them? So you kind of know those things already, but if you're maybe a little bit unclear, you would just go ask them and just say, hey, I'm going to start posting more content on LinkedIn. I want to help this community. So you know what I do. I'm a sales coach, I'm a leadership coach, whatever it is. What are some of the things that you're struggling with that you'd love to hear about? And then you're going to get answers like, I'd love to know how to motivate my team better. I'd love to know how to have a tough conversation with one of my employees. Perfect. Great. Write this down. Okay. What else? Well, I'd love to know how to align our vision with that employee's vision. Perfect. Aligning your visions. Great. What else you got? And just go down the list and start asking them questions, and you'll get 5, 10, you'll get all these questions, and then you just go and answer those questions on social media, on LinkedIn. Think about their question, their challenge, and just say, hey, here's one way to align your vision with the vision of your employee. Here's one way, if you're thinking about having that tough conversation right now, you should have had it, but you haven't had it yet, but you need to have it. Here's how you have that conversation. Here's how you start it. Here's how you set it up. Here's how you want to think about framing the conversation. All that type of stuff is going to come through you asking your customers what matters to them. And you're going to have to guide them because they may not always know, right? They may not always know, hey, post about this on LinkedIn. They may not be able to give you that level of clarity, but if you dig enough, you'll find there's some things that they want to hear about. There's some things that they're concerned about, or they want to do better, or that would improve their business, improve their lives. And it's your job just to talk about those consistently.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. Hope that everyone takes something out of it. Well, they have to. They have no choice. I mean, when you go on LinkedIn, right? You've got your feed. When you're scrolling down your feed, right? Do you see some videos that makes you inspire, right? And then you create content based on that. I mean, no, you never.
No, and it sounds so bad to say. I hate that I said that, but it's just the truth, right? It's just, but again, I really try to, I look at my own videos and I'm like, how can I up my level of creativity? How can I do what I'm doing now better? How can I better serve my clients, my audience? How can I take what they love and enhance it? How can I take the things that they're not really feeling and decrease those or get rid of them? I think I pay attention so much to how my videos hit with people and the feedback that I get. And I believe I do a good job of being ingrained in my community. And I think you need to be ingrained in your community. You have to be ingrained in your community to really understand if your content's hitting and to speak their language. I think this is one thing that people underestimate in the beginning of the whole content creation journey is they don't really understand their customer that well. They don't know how they talk, how they speak, what they care about, what challenges they're going through, what words resonate with them. What are the buzzwords? What are the things that they see in the newsfeed? They're like, oh my gosh, I am going through that right now. What types of videos do they want to see that's going to make them stop in their tracks, stop the scroll, engage, and then take action and want to actually work with you? So I pay attention very closely to that stuff. And certainly I engage with other people. This platform on LinkedIn, I mean, you have to engage with other people. 100% I do that. But I'd be lying to you if I said that I scroll at the feed and see all these other videos that I get inspiration from. It's just not quite the truth.
So it's like, I'm lost in a minute. So hold on. Thomas said one thing which is pretty good. There is one factor that any software cannot conquer: fear of recording videos. Yeah, this is what we talked about in the somewhere.
I love that topic. Let's go there.
It's like overcoming your fears, right? Because a lot of people, as you said, post text, post images, and then this is the video that I need to, that I need to come up with. And then, oh my God, the camera. I'm not saying I'm feeling like an actor in front of the camera, like I don't see it. Of course I see it. Of course I'm getting stressed out sometimes, especially when we go in live. But obviously, you're the great guest, and I've lost that feeling that the camera is watching me. But this is the thing, that first time when I chose something to record, like a camera or whatever, like a smartphone or something like that, I was like, what to say? Do I look nice? Do I look good? How are they gonna, see me in front of the camera? How to overcome that fear? And then we've got reviews and opinions. But the main thing that Thomas said about this factor, overcoming your fear of recording a video. So how do you learn to be better, to not be afraid of video creating, and then just to create more and more and more?
So the first step is you got to understand where the fear of recording videos comes from. So Thomas, if we still got you here, I want you to drop in the comments, where is that fearfulness coming from? Because you mentioned, hey, is there one factor that any software can conquer that fear of recording a video? I assume that there's some level of fear there, which is totally normal. I think that's happening to millions of people right now, and it's holding people back. Really, quite honestly, great content creators are not creating videos because they're fearful. They're worried about something. Thomas, let us know what that is. I'd be curious. What's holding you back? Where does that fear come from? What are you worried about that might actually happen? Let us know in the comments. I'll tell you what I think it is, and from my experience, and I'll tell you what even held me back from recording videos for a long time, because up until 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I wasn't recording videos either. I dabbled in it like 5 years ago on YouTube, and then I made 10 videos and stopped making it because it didn't go anywhere. I didn't know what I was doing. And some people, I was hoping he answered it. Some people kind of made fun of me, but it really comes, we as humans, let's take it back way back, thousands, 100,000 years ago, not even that long, thousands of years ago. Human beings, we lived in tribes. We're very tribal type people, right? We like to live in communities. That's how we are. If you did something that didn't align with the community or the tribe, you were fearful that you might get kicked out, right? So it's when we get on stage and we speak, it's the same thing. If I say something stupid, I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe. You know, my community is not going to like me anymore. And if I'm not in my tribe, if I'm not in my community, I may not survive. So it's a survival instinct. So the problem is we still carry that with us today when it's not reality. So our reality is telling us, okay, I got to record this video. All right. I want to put out some content. I know it. I want to unleash my creative. But if I put it out there and people don't like it, or if my community doesn't resonate with it, or if somebody makes fun of me or they disagree, or it gets no likes and I'm embarrassed by it, is my tribe or my community or my friends or my colleagues are they going to think differently of me? Are they going to look down on me? So we let insecurities and we let external factors affect the choices that we make, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So what you have to do first is get into a good place. I believe what the best thing to do for this is to get in a good place mentally. And you have to sort of overcome that fear. And it's not easy, right? It's not as simple as being like, just put yourself out there. Like that's easy to say. But for me, it really, I dug deep into what was I so scared of? You know what? Someone didn't like it. Some random person said it. My video sucked. And people did say that, by the way, and that's fine. So for me, it really, creating video content wasn't just about generating revenue and building brand. It certainly was about that, but it was about so much more. I grew as a person. I learned to love myself. I learned to trust myself. I learned I would do something because I felt like it was the right thing to do. And it served my mission and my purpose. And I wasn't going to be scared to take risk. I wasn't going to be scared to put myself out there anymore. I was going to go for it. And I didn't care what Greg said or what, Susan said or what Jennifer said or any of these people that really, quite honestly, don't have an impact on my life anyways, right? We're oftentimes so scared what people think. And in reality, those people don't have a major say or really a determination of where we go in life anyways. So why are we so scared, right? So like for me, it was really, it taught me an important lesson about life. And I teach this to my kids and I try to teach this to my clients too, that, everything's internal. Your happiness, your confidence, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about, everything, you've got to internalize everything. And when you're good here, you don't care as much about what happens here. It doesn't mean you don't get affected. It doesn't mean if someone walked up to me right now and was like, yo, you're ugly, and pointed out my five biggest flaws, I would be like, dude, that hurts. That hurts. That stung, man. Like, I don't like hearing that, right? No one likes to hear, we're human beings. I don't want to be told that I'm ugly or that my video sucked. Of course I don't. But I've spent enough time on myself and I internalize everything to say, okay, I'm still good with me though. I'm proud of myself. I love myself. And I'm not going to let somebody else's opinion, specifically someone that's negative and that's spreading hate, I'm not going to let that affect how I feel. And it's really that deep rooted when you look at video creation, content creation, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure. It runs really, really deep.
Yeah, this is very common for when it comes to creating anything, that a lot of people, when you put out stuff, loads of people just like, oh, this sucks. This is you should have done better. I would have done better. The video sucks. The audio sucks. Blah 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 blah. And then there are two ways of feeling that. It's like Thomas is here. Yeah. So either you build on that what people said and it motivates you, or it makes you, or brings you down. Now, it does bring down a lot of people, but to me, it's motivating because I did put out some content where people said, especially when I was driving a car and I recorded a video in the car, and some people just said, why are you driving and recording? It's it's unsafe and all that things, blah blah blah. Especially when you put out on LinkedIn. But I said to them, look for some people on YouTube, right? There are this moto events or programs about cars and things like that, and people driving a car have 10 cameras packed up inside of the car, and they drive and record, and nobody says nothing. People on TV driving a car, 10 cameras inside, GoPros, whatever you name it, and nobody says nothing. While you put out content on LinkedIn or on, let's say, Facebook, and people start, oh, you're not doing the right thing. You're recording stuff, and once you ask them like a creative question, or ask them like a detailed question, what's wrong with what do they think it's wrong with that video?
Yeah.
They're gone. They will never
Yeah.
ask. They'll never answer.
Yeah. And then that's a great point. I mean, that's part of the thing about putting yourself out there is you open yourself up to critique. You open yourself up to people judging you. And that's what scares a lot of people is they'd rather say, if I share this, somebody might judge me. Somebody might say, I don't like that. That's not cool. That sucks. Or maybe even worse, in a lot of cases, they put it out there and no one likes it. And that makes them feel like crap because they were tying up, again, going deep here, they were tying up how they feel about themselves based on what everyone else thinks and what everyone else says. So if I let look, I am guilty of this. I've had this happen before where I let my content determine how I felt to an extent, right? So if a post did really, like this is a while back, a post would not perform well at all. And it hurt me, man. It got me down for a little bit. Later that day, I'm back up. I'm motivated. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make better content. But it did affect me. And I mean, if you're a human being, at some point you have to go through that process. I think it's super normal to go through that process. But what you realize is that why am I letting external factors determine how I feel in my happiness? I can't control that. I put out the piece of content. The most I can do is learn from it and move on and make better content next time. Or maybe it was just a fluke thing. Who knows? But I can't let external factors determine how I feel. External is so unpredictable. It's like dating. Like you can't wait for someone to come into your life and then all of a sudden be super happy. You got to find happiness first and then attract somebody. You're already whole. Now you've got somebody else that came in to enhance. You guys can enhance each other's lives. Not I need someone else to come in to make me whole, to make me complete. I want to enhance somebody's life. I want to give back because I'm already whole. And if they're already whole, they're going to give back to me and it's going to be a beautiful thing. But if I'm missing and I have a void and I'm trying to fill it with external, I need validation. I need people to tell me my content's so awesome. I need people to tell me that I'm so good looking. I need people to tell me that I'm smart. If I'm constantly looking for that, man, that's a lonely road because
you are good looking, by the way.
Thanks, brother. So are you. I appreciate that.
But that's
so Thomas got back to us. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, Thomas got back to us. So I don't know that is this. He doesn't know what's the source of his fear, but this is not even about recording himself. It's when the camera is on, and this is something that fears a lot of people, right?
So Thomas. So not to interrupt, but Thomas, what's the worst case that happens? Let us know what's worst case. Like record a video in the next couple of days and post it. What's the worst thing that could happen? That's what I want you to think about. Because oftentimes when you bring it back to like a life perspective, like we're alive right now, guys. We're alive. Do you know how like statistically it's just our chances of being alive right now and one of the greatest times ever to be a human being with the technology we have with this, we're talking and we're, thousands of miles apart. We've got health advances we've never had before. We are alive. So what's the worst thing that can happen? It's not all about other people's opinions. My stuff is what it is. I like it. When I play offline, I play with ease. When I press record of camera, suddenly like all those people look at me.
So that should be a fuel for your motivation, right?
But but Thomas, what are you worried about when people are looking at you? That's the thing you need to get deep on. Because you said it's not about other people's opinions. My stuff is what it is. But then in the second sentence, you're saying when I press record, of course, or on the camera, suddenly all of those people look at me. What is making you not do that because of the fact that people are now looking at you? Are you worried that they may not perceive you a certain way? Are you worried that you're not going to have the right message, not going to connect with them? What if they say that they don't agree? They're going to what is it about those people looking at you that's discouraging you? Because it is about people's opinions, I think, if that's what you're saying. And we're just trying to help you, brother.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So Thomas, look at that way as well, because just before live with Alex, I sent him a DM like 40 or 30 minutes before the show. I said to them, I'm so stressed out. I was like, I'm so stressed out that I'm going live with a guest. I've never done an interview before with anyone, especially in English. And a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you're good. You speak good English and stuff like that." And first time when I come, yeah, thank you. The first time when I came up with this idea of going live, because I said to you, I remember before I went live before I applied for for this live feature. I said to Alex, why don't we go with the show? And we're gonna come back to Grzegorz in a minute. Why don't we start with the show? And you said to me when I said that I want to go live, and lots of people were going live, and I saw you live and other creators live, and I'm like, I would like to go live, despite the fact that I'm not doing, I don't put out too much content. But I said I want to go live. I want to try that, and I was super stressed out as well. And then you said to me, apply for LinkedIn Live, and then we'll do it. And I'm like,
I pushed you a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I pushed you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then I read about LinkedIn Live, and it says that, it's going to take like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. And I'm like, and I'm looking at all of those, video creators on LinkedIn who has like 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 following. And I'm like, I only have 2,000, right? So they're not going to give me live. But then I applied, and then, 5 days later, you are granted with LinkedIn Live. And I'm like, holy shit, it's happening. And then another fear is coming out, like, how am I going to do a live show? How am I going to, to perform? How to have create an idea of how to do a live show, right? Because the thing is, first you got this feature, right? But you have to have an idea how to put out, how to attract people to the show, and but in my first live,
You went for it, and that's the thing. We're human beings. We all get scared. We all have fear. We all get nervous. Anyone that says they don't is lying. But the question is, what are you going to do when you get hit with that fear, when you get hit with that nervousness? Are you going to back away from it, or are you going to hit it straight on? And when you hit it straight on, you a lot of times end up conquering that fear or the nervousness. And the nervousness a lot of times is just excitement. You're just excited. Right? Like, you were pumped to be on here. I was pumped to be on here. Like, that's normal. We're all human. So it's not that feeling that's the problem. It's not the fear that's the problem. It's not the insecurity or the doubt or whatever it is that necessarily stops us. It's what we choose to do after we start feeling that way. And what you realize is when you start facing it, the more and more you start facing it, the more and more confident you get in yourself, and the more confident you get in your ability to handle it and get past it the next time that feeling comes up.
Yeah, because about this first live, we'll come back in Grzegorz. About this first live, I was so stressed out, you can't even imagine. But after it ended, I was like, I want to go with another one.
Ever. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, dude.
Yes. I want to do another one.
And that's when man. Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
then I was
and so exactly, man. And now the next time that you do one, you're going to have that memory ingrained in you that, hey, I was a little bit nervous, but then I was so pumped that I did it. I was so happy I did it. Guess what's going to happen 5 times in, 10 times in, 20 times in, 50 times in? You're going to get to a certain point where, dude, that nervousness is just like, it's a little bit of excitement now. It's not even a big deal, right? Because you've dealt with it. When you run away from your fears instead of towards them, it constantly eats at you. That fear becomes bigger. Oh my gosh, it's like, I used to be scared sometimes that my face would turn red when I spoke in front of people. So, and for a while I didn't address it. So guess what happens? I would think about it every single time. Oh my God, my face is going to turn red. Don't call me. Don't call me. Don't call me. And then when they called on me, because I manifested that fear so much and thought about it and I obsessed over it, my face got extra red. And you know what changed the game for me? A lot of things. But one day, someone pushed me to run a meeting. And instead of me saying, oh my God, my face is going to turn red, like, my manager was like, you're running the meeting, go. He knew I had it in me, right? And I got up on the mini stage in our company. There was like 20, 30 people in the crowd, right? And I said, literally before I walked down the stage, I go, my face is going to turn red. Guess what? Guess what happened? It didn't turn red. It did. Because I faced my fear and I threw it out there. I didn't let my insecurities eat me, or I didn't let my insecurities get the best of me. I chose to use my insecurity as a weapon. Exactly. And I empowered myself through that, saying, no, you're not going to sit here and eat inside of me, like eat me up inside. I'm going to use you, and I'm going to throw you out there in front of everyone, and I'm going to expose you, because then you can't use it against me. Now I have power. I have power over my insecurity. I have power over this fear now. So I can put it out there and say, hey, it is what it is. I just exposed your ass. So what are you going to do now? That's how you conquer fear.
Yeah, exactly. Grzegorz, it says, and this is the problem This is something that's like a multitasking, or this is the problem of mine as well. I have so many ideas, right? And I spent too much he spends too much time thinking what to do instead of acting. So you've got like,
No, 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 no. You don't have too many ideas, and that's why you're not posting content. No. You know why you're not posting content? I'm calling it out. We're keeping it real on here. You're not posting content. I understand where you're coming from, by the way, because I do the same stuff sometimes. You don't have too many ideas. You might have good ideas, and that's a good problem to have. That's a good thing. You're not posting content because you're over analyzing every single idea, trying to find the absolute best one. And deep down, a little bit of insecurity or perfectionism is taking over, which is really just insecurity. And you're saying, oh, this isn't good enough. I got to find a better one. I don't know. If you've got all these ideas, take action, go. And by the way, you're never going to get better at anything until you take action anyways. So if you never get up to the bat to swing, if we're playing baseball, how are you ever going to hit a home run? Right? You got to strike out, base hit, foul ball. Eventually you may hit home runs, but you're never going to get there if all you've got is the idea of swinging the bat. You got to swing the freaking bat. See, this is where, by the way, this is where everyone's got to start getting real with themselves. Okay. And I love you guys for talking about this. And I love you guys so much. And I'm here to help. And that's why I'm saying this. But we got to start getting real with ourselves and really saying, ditch the bullshit excuses. Ditch the, I got this. No, it's not that. You're fearful. You're worrying about it being perfect. You're insecure about this. And look, that's okay. We all are, brother. We all are. Now what? Now, what are you going to do about it? You're going to face it? Or you're going to run from it? You're going to go after the life that you want? Or are you going to go sit in your comfort zone for the rest of your life? That's it.
This comfort zone.
I'm getting fired up here. I'm getting fired up.
People are afraid of when Grzegorz was talking about too many ideas, but this perfection that kills the content creation as well. Because you can improve the same piece of content. You can improve it all day long, all night long, forever, right? Until you're just like, okay, it's good. But then you're like, okay, after a day or two, you're gonna think like, okay, I'm going to change something in that. I'm going to change something like that. So instead of, especially on social media, especially on LinkedIn, I've realized and I've learned that you don't need to be perfect, right? You don't need to be perfect. Just put out content and that's it. And Thomas, let's get back to Thomas. Thanks much. Thanks a lot for your words. Alex, means a lot. I'm aware that this fear is rooted somewhere deep down and it might originate from now. So for obvious reasons, I'm on my way working with it. Yeah.
Love it, brother.
And what's the worst case? I think it's not the worst case. I think it's one of the best.
Oh, I love it. When you really think about it, worst case scenarios are typically never that bad. It's usually not that bad. Anna, what's up, Anna?
Shout out to my wife.
Oh, cool,
well.
cool.
And a shout out to Grzegorz. Grzegorz, he's. I'm going to tell you one thing about Grzegorz as well, and he's running a group on LinkedIn.
Cool.
He's not sleeping today. Right, so I introduced him this platform, Render Forest, and I showed him that this is a video animations. You can start working with that if you want. He went mad with this render. He just fall in love straight away with it, and he's built already on. And it's not very easy to build a group on LinkedIn, because on Facebook it's pretty obvious. It's pretty common and it's pretty, I would say, pretty simple. But it's not pretty simple. But on LinkedIn it's pretty tough to build a community on a group. And he's built around 2,000 people in 4 months already. And people start sharing content over there, sharing their ideas, problems and things like that. So this is brilliant what he's done. So let's get back to Thomas. Okay, so
I'll read it. Alex, that might be a common fear of being judged, but in this particular case, it might be rooted by some specific condition. What I learned recently, I know that reputation is mother of all virtues, but if I can work it out in a smart way, I can learn something more about me. Anyways, thanks so much for the commitment to discuss it. Absolutely, brother. And Thomas, that's a great point. So think about when you're posting content, as long as it aligns with your values and it aligns with your character and your intentions are good, you're trying to put out positivity, you're trying to put out value. It's all that matters, man. You're never going to get in trouble for that. It's always going to be a positive thing. I promise you. You'll get better over time. But I think about when I put out content now, what makes me feel good is that I think about my intentions are good. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to build my business. I'm trying to build a brand, but I'm also trying to really help people and impact people in a positive way. So even when I get fired up earlier, I know it's coming from a good place. Like I want to help people. And part of helping people is getting them to see past the symptom and get to the root cause. So the symptom is I have too many ideas. I can't post content. The root cause of that issue is I'm scared to use one of those ideas to post it into content because what if it's not good enough? Yeah. You got to get to the root cause.
Good. So we come back to importance, right? So why content marketing and especially video strategy? Let's get down to this word strategy. Video strategy is important for you and your brand in 2021. So you see a lot of, I'd say videos are not popular. I mean, they used to be popular. They were always popular, but now you can see a lot of, more and more videos coming up, whether it's a trend or not, whether it's a, based on, because of pandemic and people are just, stuck at home and doing more. But video has always been, a great piece of content. Now, why is it like important to start, if you're not doing it yet, start doing video content and how to create a strategy for your video, for your personal brand or for your company brand?
Well, since COVID, especially, everything our world changed overnight, right? We were doing handshake meetings, in-person stuff, live events. And then all of a sudden it was like March 2020 and poof, the whole world went digital and virtual overnight. Was it going to go that way anyways over time? Yes, of course. Were people going to work from home more eventually in the future anyways? Yes, of course. Did it expedite a hell of a lot quicker with COVID? You better believe it did, right? Like literally overnight, we advanced 5 to 10 years from where we were going. So you have to have a video strategy to a certain extent. I mean, and you want the video strategy can extend beyond marketing. It's in your sales efforts. It's in your pre-sale. It's in probably in your wholesale cycle if you've got a good strategy around it, but certainly in your content marketing and your landing pages and your websites and your newsletters. Like you should be finding ways to reach and connect with people in a deeper way and demonstrate who you are and your values and your personality. And in the customers, if you go to the surveys and the stats, more customers want more videos from their favorite brands. That's what they're telling us. So if you look at the customers and you just poll the people that care about all this stuff and that you want to attract, they want to see you on video more than not. So it is what it is. And so when you think about your strategy, you got to think about where you're going to show up. Where is your customer? Think about your customer first, right? Everything starts with you have a business, you have a solution to a problem. At the simplistic, at the most simple aspect of a business, it's I see a challenge, I see a problem, I'm going to solve it, right? And then it's like, who am I going to solve? Like, or what problem am I going to solve for who? What's the audience? What's my target demographic? What's the community that I want to build? What do they care about? Really understanding them, like we talked about earlier. And then thinking about your brand. What's my brand going to be? What am I going to be known for? What are my values? How am I going to serve people differently than my other competitors do? How am I going to show up in the newsfeed different than my competitors do? And then you go to, now what do I talk about? Now, how many times do I post and what's the topics and how do I create the content and the creative and the copy and this, how do I start the video? How do I edit? Then you're getting into more of the details, obviously. And that's really kind of the start of the process for the content of the video strategy. It starts with your objectives, your goals, and then it quickly gets into, okay, what solution do we solve? What solution do we provide? What problems do we solve? And who's the audience? What's our brand? What are we going to talk about? Why do they care? And the logistics of how we're going to do it, how we're going to distribute it, that kind of stuff. Okay. We're coming up on time, by the way.
Yeah. We'll come back to things that I wanted to ask. Is this your 5-week program? This Unleash the Creative, yeah, is that what it's called?
So it's not actually. It used to be a 5-week program. Now it's a LinkedIn video and social selling bootcamp. So if you want to jump on LinkedIn and you want to build a real brand, an industry leading brand, and you want to win clients consistently, the program's for you. So it doesn't just teach video. It teaches you really a lot about brand, a lot about identifying your target customer, a lot about writing copy, a lot about making videos, a lot about social selling, outsourcing, editing, and everything in between. And we've had so much success for it. We've had just amazing people go through it and they're crushing it now. And I'm proud of the community that we've built.
Okay. I've got a question.
I've got to bounce in 1 minute. So that's probably the last question.
Okay. I've got a question from my wife and it's pretty,
Okay, I see it. Yeah. How do you divide your time between work and family? My husband's hard to get away from the computer. Yeah. It's tricky, right? Sometimes it is tricky and they kind of blend together. I think, and I hate to give advice because it so depends on your guys' situation and what you have going on and stuff. So I can't really say, but what's worked well for me is deciding to be very present and in the moment. I think one of the best gifts that you can give another human being, one of the best presents that you can give another human being is to be present with them, to give them your full attention. So Lucas, you're doing your work, you're in the zone, you're in your work, right? You're with your wife, you're with your wife. You know, me, I'm in my zone, I'm in the work, I'm here now, I'm present, I'm not checking my phone, I'm not thinking about emails, I'm not thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about being here with you and serving this audience and bringing value. When I go pick up my kids up later today, I'm going to be with them. I'm not thinking about this or that or the next video or the client or whatever it is. I'm going to be in the moment. Now, is that perfect? No. Do I make mistakes and does it bleed over? Of course.
I'm going to have to speak to you about it.
But it's a pretty damn good principle and rule to follow is just be present where you are and make the most of the people that you're around. Give your attention.
All right. Okay. We're over time. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for coming up. Thank you very much for showing up.
My pleasure.
It was a massive pleasure. So we're gonna come back to this. We're gonna get some stuff, I'm lost in words. Anyway, thank you very much for this live. Thank you everyone for showing up.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure. And let's see you on LinkedIn later on somewhere else in the feed.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And
thank you guys.
Great time.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Lucas. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye, man. Right. Grzegorz. So Grzegorz is asking, but obviously Alex is not there anymore. Was the best video length, best on LinkedIn and value at the beginning, does it matter? It does matter. Myślę, że teraz mogę trochę po polsku, bo już nie ma Alexa, także dziękuję wszystkim za przybycie. Dziękuję wszystkim za to, że byliście tutaj z nami. Jak widzicie, Alex to świetny gość, trochę się tam pozakręcałem w pewnych miejscach, ale myślę, że naprawdę dużo wniósł do rozmowy i niesamowity gościu, niesamowita energia, naprawdę świetny facet, także polecam go obserwować na LinkedIn i nie tylko. I co, no bardzo dziękuję wszystkim za przybycie, nie wiem nawet ile was było, ale mam nadzieję, że wytrzymaliście te 73 minuty. Następny live, w takim razie, jeżeli mogę też już to zapowiedzieć, odbędzie się w sobotę o godzinie 10, 15 maja, czyli za tydzień w sobotę 15 maja o godzinie 10, live jeszcze nie powiem z kim, bo powiem to jutro, pojutrze, natomiast porozmawiamy sobie o personal brandingu, porozmawiamy sobie ze specjalistką z Dubaju, która ma polskie korzenie, natomiast urodziła się w Niemczech, a mieszka właśnie w Dubaju. Także o tym sobie porozmawiamy sobie o budowaniu personal naszej marki osobistej, co to w ogóle jest marka osobista, dlaczego, po co i tak dalej. No i 27 maja, jak dobrze kojarzę, a dobrze chyba kojarzę, 27 maja mam kolejny live z też jednym z moich ulubionych twórców wideo na LinkedIn. Też porozmawiamy o wideo na LinkedIn, porozmawiamy również o tym, o co zapytał Grzegorz, czyli najlepsza długość, jaka jest taka optymalna długość wideo na LinkedIn. Cześć w ogóle Wojtek, dzięki bardzo. Porozmawiamy sobie właśnie, jaka jest optymalna długość wideo na LinkedIn, jaki content, jak tworzyć, jak pisać odpowiedni copy do tego contentu wideo na LinkedIn, ponieważ sam tekst też musi zachęcać do tego, żebyście obejrzeli ten materiał wideo. Dlaczego miniaturki również wideo są ważne? Ponieważ tak jak widzicie na YouTube są miniaturki, które zachęcają do obejrzenia danego materiału. Tak samo na LinkedInie. Tak samo na LinkedInie również miniaturki wideo zachęcają do tego, aby ten content obejrzeć, żeby on się wyróżniał na feedzie. Jeszcze raz dziękuję wszystkim za przybycie, dziękuję za to, że byliście z nami i cóż, tak jak mówię, zapraszam. Oj, dzień dobry, wieczór. Dobry wieczór.
Dobry wieczór.
Także zapraszam 15 maja w sobotę o 10 i 27 maja, to jest czwartek o godzinie 20 albo 19:17, a to jeszcze potwierdzę, ponieważ będę o tym mówił, na pewno będę was bombardował postami o tym, że w maju. Teraz was zabrałem do USA, byliśmy w Chicago, będziemy za tydzień w Dubaju i 2 tygodnie później wracamy do USA, do Miami. Także dziękuję jeszcze raz wszystkim, pozdrawiam serdecznie i co, do zobaczenia, do usłyszenia.